Well, we're taking a live look here at our East Memphis camera where the fog has now lifted enough to where we can see the Clark Tower there in the background. Earlier this morning, really couldn't see it at all, but things are improving pretty quickly here. That dense fog advisory that has been in place since earlier is going to expire, I think, at around 9 a.m. today. 3 miles, I think that's a little bit outdated. We're probably closer to around 7 or 8 miles of visibility right now in most of the area, and it does seem that we are seeing a good amount of clearing elsewhere. Only, I would say, between 6 to 8 miles for most of the other regions. It seems that we still have a little bit of a dense spot there between Memphis and Covington, and then in Clarksdale, but all in all, things are looking better here heading out the door as we are going to see a dry day ahead. Here's a look at those advisories again for fog, and we did have freezing fog advisories. I really don't think we ended up seeing that as temperatures were not all that low enough for enough time for that fog to form and have those impacts. But we'll take a bit of a zoom out here where we can see the winter weather watches for this weekend, all the way from parts of upstate New York, a couple thousand miles down into New Mexico. 100 million people under some kind of winter weather watch here this weekend. Just an absolutely massive storm system that is going to be making its way through our area. But again, we are not going to be alone here in suffering from a lot of different impacts over the course of this weekend. Now, here in the Mid-South, we are going to be in an interesting sort of transition zone between where it's going to be separated from mainly snow and mainly a mix of sleet and ice. Right now, I think the most populated areas, including Memphis, are going to see a pretty even mixture of snow and sleet. That's going to prevent totals from, I think, getting too high, but definitely still a lot of precipitation types is going to have, I think, an overall equal amount of sort of difficulty when it comes to staying out or traveling on the roadways here this weekend. So definitely want to try and make those preparations today, again, to see how long you can hold out here over the weekend and avoid traveling and staying outdoors for the most part. Right now, those totals for the snow and a little bit of sleet, but mostly for snow here, is around 3 to 6 inches for Memphis. Definitely looking lower the further south we look, maybe only an inch or so, places like Oxford and Clarksdale. But further north, Dyersburg, Truman, we may end up just seeing almost totally snow, and we could be approaching 10 inches locally in some spots, maybe getting a little higher than that. Again, the very northern tips here of the viewing area is where those totals would be possible, but around 3 to 6 here for the metro area, and we are going to see some ice on top of that, which reduces the snow totals. You can see this is pretty much an inverse of the snow accumulation graphic. Maybe about 1/10 of an inch or more here in Memphis of ice accumulations. That's all it takes to really turn roadways and other surfaces into very slippery and messy conditions ensue. Further south, though, up to maybe 1/2 inch or more in places like Oxford and Corinth. That is the range where we really start to get concerned with potential power outages from the ice sticking and really weighing down power lines. So that's something we really want to keep in mind here, especially for our Mississippi counties where the ice is probably going to be a little bit higher, and of course of those roadways affected as well by those greater accumulations. So Saturday and Sunday, Friday night as well, but this is going to be the main time frame for the precipitation in the area. Significant winter storm with a mix of sleet, snow, ice, maybe even freezing rain at times if we have the right conditions. Plan for travel impacts, though, and again, power outages possible, especially where we are going to have those temperatures and, those ice accumulations a little bit on that higher side. So because of that, it is going to be 4 days here of weather impact alerts, Friday afternoon through Tuesday afternoon. We're going to see the snow move in late Friday night. Again, today here on Thursday, we're going to have those highs in the upper 40s, maybe lower 50s, with those lows into the around freezing range once again here, just like this morning. But by tomorrow, it's going to be definitely a bit more impactful as we do see those temperatures only rise, I should say, into the 30s by the afternoon. We're going to see those lows in the teens Friday night. That's when the precipitation moves through, snow and sleet, and then all of Saturday, most of Sunday is where we're going to see that continuing here across the area. Not going to be many gaps in between where I think we'll have breaks from any sort of precipitation falling from the sky. Sunday night we are clear. Wind chills, though, afterwards from Monday night and into Tuesday morning, we're going to be down in the single digits for the actual temperature, feeling like the negatives for many hours at a time. A lot of hazards here in play for this weekend. We'll have the details, though, everything you need to know to stay safe leading up to it here over these next 36 hours. And of course, during, we'll have a lot of coverage around the clock for what is shaping up to be a historic winter storm for not just the Mid-South, but for many parts of the United States in general.